Stop what you're doing and listen carefully. That's how former President Donald Trump began his latest urgent message to America. One that has left millions of people shocked, talking, and wondering what comes next. From the very first words, there was a sense that something big, something important, was about to be said. In a time when the nation feels more divided than ever, and when global events are shaping the lives of every American, Trump's words carried a level of intensity that demanded attention. This wasn't background noise. This wasn't politics as usual. His tone, his body language, and even the urgency in his voice told viewers that this message was meant to be taken seriously. Unlike his typical campaign rallies filled with cheering crowds and long speeches, this moment was different. According to many who watched it live, Trump sounded less like a politician trying to score points, and more like a man delivering a warning about where America is heading if action is not taken soon. He didn't waste time with jokes or small talk. Instead, Trump went straight to the heart of his message, the challenges America faces right now and the consequences of ignoring them. For some, it felt like a wake-up call. For others, it felt like fear being used to spark division. But no matter which side people were on, the undeniable truth is that his words grabbed the attention of millions in a way that few political figures can. People tuned in, expecting to hear another campaign-style statement. What they got instead was something much heavier. Trump wasn't just talking about politics. He was talking about the future of America, about ordinary families struggling with rising costs, about safety, about freedom, and about the kind of country the next generation will inherit. The impact was immediate. Social media lit up with reactions. Supporters praised his directness, saying he was the only one willing to speak the truth. Critics argued that his tone was too extreme, that it could fuel more division at a time when unity is needed. But here's the key. Everyone was talking. Whether in support or in criticism, Trump's urgent message became the center of national conversation almost instantly. So what exactly did Trump say? And why is this message being called urgent by both his supporters and his critics alike? Let's break it down. Trump began by painting a vivid picture of the current challenges facing the United States. He didn't hold back. He talked about the rising cost of living, how families are struggling to put food on the table, and how so many hardworking Americans feel like the American dream, the very dream that once seemed within reach for anyone, is slowly slipping away. It wasn't just about numbers, statistics, or policies. Trump spoke in a way that connected to what people are actually experiencing in their daily lives. From gas prices to grocery bills, from rent to medical expenses, he highlighted the burdens that ordinary families are carrying. And then he took it a step further. He didn't simply blame the economy as an abstract issue. He connected these struggles directly to leadership, saying that the decisions being made by those in power today are weakening America from the inside out. In his view, it wasn't just bad luck or global events causing hardship. It was the result of choices, policies, and priorities that he believes are steering the country in the wrong direction. Then came his message. Clear, sharp, and impossible to ignore. America is at a crossroads. The path chosen now will determine the direction of the nation for years to come. The next decisions will shape the future for decades. The stakes are higher than most people realize, and the wrong moves could have lasting consequences. If action isn't taken soon, freedoms and opportunities Americans have always cherished could be lost. These weren't just political talking points. They were delivered as a warning, a wake-up call to anyone who believes America is safe from decline. For his supporters, these words felt like a rallying cry, a reason to stay strong and push back against what they see as failed leadership. They heard a leader speaking directly to their concerns, validating their struggles, and offering hope that America could be turned around. For his critics, however, it sounded like fear-mongering. They argued that his words were designed to stir panic, to divide, and to paint an overly negative picture of the country. But here's what both sides agreed on. Trump's delivery carried an urgency that made people stop scrolling, stop talking, and start paying attention. Within minutes of Trump's urgent message going live, social media absolutely exploded. Hashtags connected to his speech began trending across multiple platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Clips of his remarks were shared and reshared, spreading faster than wildfire across feeds and timelines. It didn't matter which side of the political spectrum people were on. The conversation was unavoidable. Supporters quickly clipped the most powerful moments of his speech and reposted them with captions like, "Finally, someone is saying what we're all thinking." Critics, on the other hand, dissected his words, warning that his tone could inflame divisions at a time when unity is desperately needed. Some viewers said they felt genuinely inspired. They claimed Trump was speaking truths that too many leaders avoid. Truths about rising costs, crumbling trust in leadership, and the urgency of defending the freedoms Americans hold dear. To them, his speech wasn't just political, it was personal. It was about their lives, their families, and their future. But others felt the complete opposite. They admitted feeling alarmed, even uneasy. For them, Trump's urgent tone wasn't a rallying cry, it was a red flag. They worried that his words, delivered with such intensity, could deepen existing divides in an already fractured nation. To these critics, the speech wasn't about solving problems, but about fueling emotions. And yet, beyond politics, what truly stood out was the sheer scale of the reaction. The numbers were stunning. Millions tuned in live. Millions more watched replays within hours. Comments flooded in by the tens of thousands. Every major news outlet picked up the story. The urgency of Trump's words had broken out of political circles and into mainstream conversations, something that doesn't happen often. But this wasn't passive listening. This wasn't background noise. People weren't just hearing Trump's message. They were engaging with it. They debated it in comment sections, argued about it at kitchen tables, and even turned it into late-night talk show material. Whether inspired, alarmed, or simply curious, Americans were paying attention. And in today's world, where distractions are endless and attention spans are shrinking, that in itself is remarkable. Trump's urgent message had done something few speeches managed to do. It grabbed the nation's attention and refused to let go. Why did Trump's urgent message cause such a strong reaction? The answer lies in one powerful word: timing. Right now, America is standing in a storm of uncertainty on multiple fronts. The economy feels unstable for millions of families. Grocery bills are rising. Gas prices hit wallets harder every week. Rent and housing costs are climbing beyond reach for young people trying to build their future. Parents are wondering how they'll pay for their children's education. Retirees are worried their savings won't last. Socially, the country is more divided than many can remember. Political debates spill over into everyday life, at work, at schools, and even at the dinner table. Tensions are high, and trust in leaders, institutions, and even the media seems to be at an all-time low. And globally, the situation isn't much better. Conflicts overseas, strained alliances, and the rise of competing world powers all contribute to a growing fear that America's position as a leader on the world stage is slipping away. Trump's message struck directly at these fears. He warned that America is not only losing its strength abroad, but also losing something far more dangerous at home: its unity, its stability, and its very identity. He didn't mince words. He told Americans that unless they wake up, speak out, and take action, the freedoms they take for granted could slowly vanish. For his supporters, these words landed like a lightning bolt. They saw his message as a wake-up call, a reminder that they cannot stay silent, that the values they grew up with are worth protecting. To them, Trump wasn't just talking politics. He was talking about survival, about defending the essence of what it means to be American. But for his opponents, the speech raised red flags. They worried that Trump's call to action, delivered with such urgency, could create more division in an already fragile nation. Instead of bringing people together, they feared it might deepen the rift, turning neighbor against neighbor in the battle of ideas. Yet one undeniable fact remains. No matter where people stood, Trump's urgent words forced everyone to ask the same haunting question: where is America really heading? As the dust begins to settle from Trump's urgent message, one thing is undeniable. Millions of Americans are now deeply engaged in the conversation. What started as a single speech has grown into a nationwide debate, echoing across social media feeds, newsrooms, workplaces, and even family gatherings. His words may have been divisive, but they carried enough weight to demand attention. For some, this felt like the opening move in what could be Trump's next big political chapter. They see this message not as an isolated warning, but as the first drumbeat of a larger campaign, a signal that Trump is ready to once again step into the arena with full force. Others, however, view it differently. They believed this was less about politics and more about sending a reminder.
A dramatic wake-up call about the challenges America faces. To them, Trump was speaking like a watchman on the wall, sounding the alarm so the nation doesn't fall asleep at the wheel. Whatever the motivation, the truth is hard to deny. Trump's urgent message was loud, clear, and impossible to ignore. It has set off ripple effects that are already shaping conversations about America's future. And so the question everyone is asking becomes simple but powerful. What comes next? Will Americans rally behind Trump's warning, seeing it as a call to protect freedom, opportunity, and national strength? Or will the nation move in a completely different direction, rejecting his vision and seeking new leadership for the road ahead? The answer isn't clear yet, and that's what makes this moment so intense. Every new headline, every policy debate, and every political move will be judged in the shadow of this urgent message. Supporters wait with excitement, believing change is coming. Critics prepare with caution, worried about the consequences of his influence. But for now, one undeniable fact remains. Trump's words have left millions stunned, shaken, and thinking more deeply about where the country is heading. Whether you agree with him or not, the power of this message lies in its impact. It made people stop, listen, and consider the future. Tomorrow is uncertain. But one thing is sure. Trump has once again forced America to pay attention.